everyone, and welcome to the first episode of the Footy Social, a brand new football podcast with me, Daniel Wiseman,
and me, Joe Rudd.
So basically, all we want to do is we just want to bring football content to the viewers, football content to all fans of football, really, and we just want to talk about.
Isn't our slogan, if I can remember it correctly, real football for real football fans from real football fans?
Yeah, real footy talk for real football fans, and that is.
We haven't really got it spot on yet, but we'll get it out eventually, won't we?
That is the general gist. We love watching football, and we don't love watching stats, unlike some people. Well,
stats are important, aren't they?
Some of them. They can be misleading.
Any stats with a decimal point, we don't really like. But
that is basically it. Yeah. So anything SOFA score, anything who scored, that doesn't count. We like watching football with our eyes and thinking, if you can kick a ball, you can kick a ball. That's basically how I enjoy football.
Watching it with your own eyes. But I do like stats as well. Dan hates stats more than me, so that's what you will come to find. But I'm not a massive fan of stats, but yeah, well,
that's because most of the time whenever I see a stat, it's slandering a Chelsea player. So that's probably part of the agenda to it.
So if you didn't know, Dan supports Chelsea as he's wearing his...
What
year is that from? Samsung Mobile? That looks like...
That's about 07, probably.
07, yeah.
06 or 07.
Surely you bought that recently. Was it your dad's or something? That would have fit you when you were...
That's a retro one off eBay, I think.
Yeah, retro one.
Yeah.
And then I support West Ham, so two I say big London clubs. Dan might disagree, but we've got a bigger stadium than them, so...
Yeah.
Their trophy cabinet's a little bit bigger.
Yeah, just a teeny bit. So, and just before we get going as well, just want to disclose that we both have had a negative COVID test before filming.
Yep.
So we're not breaking any. We're not breaking any rules.
We've not got negative tests. But we've got tests at my house, which is just through there.
Yep. So we're not breaking any rules. We're just, we're working together to bring you this content. So how about we start with? Why do you support West Ham? It's quite an obvious question, but just why do you support West Ham?
Supporting a football team, for me, I watched a Danny Dyer interview years ago. He's also a West Ham fan, if you don't know who he is, he's in EastEnders. And he said, you don't choose your club chooses you, which I quite liked. Because I think the same, I didn't pick West Ham. My dad's West Ham fan. When I was 4, I think, 2003, I was 4. I went to my first game. We were in the Championship at the time as well, and it was Gillingham at home with my dad and his mate, and then his son, who's like a year older than me. And we won the game 2-1 or 3-1. I remember I saw Gillingham because we didn't get promoted, and we got promoted the year later. We played Gillingham again. I went to that game as well, so I've actually just seen Gillingham quite a lot of times.
A big team, aren't they?
Massive. I saw them in the way of the cup as well last season. But yeah, and ever since then, my dad's been taking me to games and had a season ticket since I was 4 years old, Artson Park, and then now London Stadium.
Why was your dad West Ham in the first place?
My dad's funny one. So my dad's family, my dad's dad and his older brother, big Spurs fans.
Right.
So they're obviously still family. They're big family rivalry. They're Tottenham, we're West Ham. My dad, when he was a kid, just want to be different from his brother, I think. And we live around the London area, and he wanted to pick a London team. And I think he just liked West Ham for no real reason. We weren't that good. He just liked us, and I think when he was like 11, my dad started going to games on his own I think he told me he went with an older like guy who was like 15, took him. And back then it was just all pay on the door, so you used to just get the train down.
You didn't have to book tickets 3 weeks in advance back then,
or get a season. I don't think there's not many people had season tickets back in that day.
No, I think my dad first got one in about 98, which was
which
is when it first. I think he said season tickets started getting busy after about Euro '96, when sort of footy fever grabbed the nation. It was sort of like the change. It was like the changing of the guard between hooliganism football and family.
96, I could say, is a good turning point for that.
Yeah. Family footy with face paints and all that, the England games.
I think clubs did it as well because it was a better way to track your fans as well, who was coming to games, who maybe was causing the violence, and it's a better way to ban people, although you can change your name and go. But
yeah, obviously it does happen sometimes nowadays, not as often.
Yeah.
So Yeah, I mean, my dad's been going since '84. I think he said '84 or '86. That was his first game.
Right.
We were in Division 1 at the time.
How was your dad then? That'll be rude.
He was about 15, 16.
Okay, was he a Chelsea fan as a kid then?
Well, it was sort of he wasn't really, because obviously footy wasn't on telly back then. It was basically you had the FA Cup final.
Yeah, true, and
that was it.
Yeah,
really, that was the only televised event. But I think it was basically just a mixture of loose family ties to Chelsea and more really like the whole casual scene, like the casuals, madness,
80s,
obviously, madness with Chelsea fans, and it's basically it was sort of more like it was like a fashion statement back then. Really, wasn't it?
Yeah, like the type of music sort of you're into was like the type of fashion you're into.
Yeah.
Which made me tied you in with different football clubs.
Yeah, the mod scene and all that sort of stuff.
And then that's where you've come from. First game.
Yeah. Was it? I was 3 years old. I think 04 FA Cup in 04.
Your first game was FA Cup. For some reason I thought it was the final.
No. It was Watford away. Just down the road.
Yeah, just down
the
the road.
Dad just thought, well, got to get him in early to make sure we don't support any other team. Which I mean,
I think that's the same as my dad.
It's fair enough, isn't it?
Yeah, get us in early. I mean, you bit wasn't as difficult with you, because I'm sure there's a lot of kids that we know that dads don't support Chelsea, but they support Chelsea because it's
yeah. I mean,
throughout when we were growing up, you'd win a lot of things. Whereas no kids really choosing to support West Ham off their own back.
No, I mean, I think 50% of my primary school was Chelsea fans at the time. I remember as well.
Yeah, but at the time, was it 2003?
2004 was when I went.
Was there any doubts in like now? Obviously, Chelsea are probably going to be at the. I don't know, not at the top, but there'll be a Premier League team winning things. I can't see them stop doing that. I mean, obviously they're taking a dip, but they'll always be in with a shout every season. Maybe they could win. Like they'll be an FA Cup candidate, maybe for the league if they improve. Was there any doubts in 2004 though when you started supporting? When your dad first started taking you? That I think maybe you've got this money now, but maybe it might not last.
I think you've always got to be positive as a football fan, haven't you? You've always got to think.
Yeah.
It is a bit of a stereotype, but you've always got to think this is your year. And I mean, even late 90s, when you had the whole Ruud Gullit era, the Gianluca Vialli era, Gianfranco Zola coming in as well. It was obviously these were world stars coming into the club before we even had the money. Well, the big bucks that we've got nowadays. So it's basically just my dad's just sort of got the lucky dip really. Picked a team which was sort of mid-table Division 1, went down to Division 2. I think Middlesbrough relegated us in like '86, which obviously my stepbrother would love. But yeah, just sort of being that middling club, and then around the mid-90s, late 90s, we started picking up trophies here and there, and
FA Cup didn't you get?
Yeah, and I think it does help being in London as well, because it is these world stars would come over, like Ruud Gullit would come over. And you do get the appeal of living in London.
Yeah, I think it's the same with West Ham as well. We,
Di Canio.
Well, we do. Yeah, but even now, like obviously we don't have a lot. We have every Premier League club has money now because the Premier League's so lucrative. But London's a bigger pool than Newcastle. You see Newcastle doing terribly. No one really wants to live in Newcastle. No one really wants to live in Yorkshire. That's why Yorkshire clubs over the last 15, 20 years haven't done great. See Sheffield United and Leeds in the Premier League, but Sheffield United look like they're going down, and none of them look like they're coming up. Leeds were obviously out of the Premier League for 15 years, and London's a very big pool.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, if you play for a northern club, you probably don't live in the town most of the time. You'll live in the outskirts and the posh bits.
You'll have a mansion in some posh area.
Yep, exactly, all that sort of stuff.
You live in the centre of Wolverhampton, are you? If you're I don't know why I think Wolverhampton out there, but yeah, if we're going to be moving on about with the podcast, obviously to let everyone watching, this is our first one. What we're basically going to be doing with it, we're going to have guests on. Obviously, at the start, it's just going to be friends of ours because we don't really have the money or the means to be getting anyone half decent in.
We're not getting Messi in next week.
Yeah, unless you know Spanish, because I don't. I would be in trouble. You have to Google Translate on.
No.
But yeah, the plan is to get our mates on. Basically, support different. We're going to try and vary the clubs up. So obviously, we don't want to talk about West Ham and Chelsea for the whole. For every podcast, we're going to be mixing it up. We're going to be having different mates on to support different clubs. So if we're not talking about your club, we should have someone coming on, and we'll give you. We've got Dan's mate Jack, who supports
Man United
on next week. We've got my mate Scott. He's a Fulham fan. So if any of you are Fulham fans watching this,
very doubt it.
Yeah, that's big. All the Fulham fans are going to be.
They're going to be going mental.
Yeah. We've got Dan's stepbrother is a Middlesbrough fan, so that's dipping down into the Championship.
Yeah, the Championship.
Well, I know a little bit about, but Dan is not. You don't go down that way, do you?
Don't watch it.
No.
The only Championship games I watch are Middlesbrough, but once a season.
Playoffs.
Don't even watch that.
Oh, you got to I watch every playoff. League 1, League 2, sometimes even the conference. That's on BT Sport though.
I watched the ones that Wickham were in.
Yeah,
that was
last season. There. Yeah.
Yeah, I watched that one. That was quite cool.
Yeah, that was that game.
Gareth Ainsworth and his leather boots.
Where the penalty Jacobson.
Yeah. He's been there for donkey's years as well.
He's a class left back. I think. I know we'll be going on to this topic, but I think if you look at free kick specialists or set piece specialists, I don't know who. Him, James Ward-Prowse, James Tavernier.
I remember he scored direct from a corner this season as well. Well, last season, didn't he, Jay Jacobson?
Yeah, that was in the playoffs, I think.
When he was in the semis or something, right?
Yeah, that was against Fleetwood.
Yeah. Well, I mean, going back to West Ham, I mean, where are you at the moment? You fifth? You fifth or sixth?
Where are we? Yeah.
I think you're fifth. I think Liverpool are sixth at the time of recording.
I know where we are. Yeah, we're fifth. We should. Yeah, fifth.
We're recording this on a Friday night, so things might have changed.
It's Wolves versus Leeds.
Yeah, I think
score?
I think it's still 1-0 Wolves at the moment. Just that's a bit of time frame for when we're recording. So things may change this weekend. We both may lose, and Liverpool may win and overtake us again. But I mean, are you thinking already? I mean, how many games are we in? Is it 24? We're 24 games.
14 games left.
14 games left. Are you genuinely thinking top 6 target?
As a target,
are you thinking if you don't get top 6 in the season?
100% top 6 has to be the target.
Would you be disappointed if you didn't get top 6 though?
Would I be disappointed if I didn't get top 6? No.
No,
I wouldn't. I would be in a way of where we were a bit as in a look back. Oh well, we move on. We can go again next season. But no, definitely not. I wouldn't be disappointed if we don't get top 6 because from where we were last season, relegation battling, to where we are this season, top half finish was my target to finish in the top 10. Wasn't like we guaranteed it. To finish in the top 6 would be an unreal season.
Say there's 5 games to go instead of 14, and you're in the same position. Maybe 3 points ahead of 7th. Is that then disappointing? Well,
our last 5 games are like, I don't know off the top of my head. I think I looked at it the other day. It's like Brighton, Southampton, Everton, West Brom, and there's someone else who isn't that great.
Right.
So if we're in that position and we've got these games coming up, then yeah, I would be, because you're looking to getting points from those games. But yeah, it's all about perspective, isn't it? If we had Liverpool, City and Leicester coming up, I'd be a bit like, well, if we drop out, you can't really complain. But
yeah,
definitely that's a different question. If we're on with 5 games to go, you can ask me the same question. I'll give you maybe a different answer.
I feel like your squad's too thin for that.
Yeah,
who are your bench players? You don't have a backup striker, do you?
No, that's the one thing I thought in January. If we wanted to really, really challenge for the European spots, we needed another striker just to give Antonio rest. I mean, Antonio didn't play against Sheffield United. We didn't play great, but we won 3-0 Sheffield United. But
you play Ben Rama up top? Is it Ben Rama or Bowen up top?
I wouldn't play Ben Rama. He's more of a player that comes deep in creates. I wouldn't really put him...
Yeah, but who's going to be creating for if you don't have a striker?
Bowen and Lingard, I think, are better getting in behind than drifting into the pockets.
It's basically just a bunch of false nines, really.
Yeah, which can work. If you remember a game with Allardyce where we beat Spurs 3-0 where we didn't play a striker. And it was like, Allardyce is a tactical genius.
I mean, City have been played the whole season without Aguero as well.
Yeah,
that's a giveaway, isn't it? But that's Man City. That's a bit of a different echelon, to be fair.
Yeah, we can get onto all that later. Aguero is he still that level he was?
I mean, I don't. He's leaving in the summer.
I haven't seen him play.
I'm pretty sure he's leaving in the summer.
In about a year and a half. You can't really comment but I think the reason is he's not. He's been injured, but then he's been fit and on the bench and not played at all. So does that say something about his fitness? He looks. I think last time I saw him, he looked a little bit overweight.
Well, I mean, it's basically if you sub him on, he's probably going to get injured again. So I think Pep just doesn't bother. I mean, if you're winning 16 games in a row,
you don't need him.
You don't need him.
They don't need him, and it's sad, isn't it? Really, because he's a great foot player. He's a Premier League legend. The stuff he's done for City.
He was pretty good.
I don't think he'll get that unless it's this season, which
scored about 3 hat-tricks.
Could be. I don't think he'll get the Champions League that he wanted. That he said. Remember that newspaper? I'm not leaving until we win the Champions League.
This is the season to do it.
This is the season to do it. But even then, he won't play a big part in it.
No, definitely not.
It's like when different scenario altogether. Brewster, he didn't really win. He got a medal, but he didn't. I wouldn't really say he won the Champions League. I think.
But I mean, to be fair, we're only in February. You've got 3 months till the final. Anything can happen until then. He can come back and score a winner in the semi.
We sit here and say stuff in February, and then in a month or 2 months' time, we look absolute idiots.
Yeah.
And Aguero could come back and score hat-trick after hat-trick, and I'll be sitting here well, I got it wrong.
Usually against us. Usually he scores hat-tricks against us.
Yeah. When are they playing you?
Oh, I think we've got them near the end of the season.
Yeah. So De Bruyne is back in time for the Arsenal game this weekend to absolutely smash them like he always does.
Yeah.
And then you got Aguero who's going to be ready for the Chelsea game in a couple of months' time to put you to the sword.
I should have put De Bruyne in my FPL, to be honest with you. Literally, he always scores braces against.
Yeah, I stuck
Arsenal.
with Gundogan. Even though he was injured last week, I've heard big rumours that he's fit again, and he's got to start with the form he's been in. He's got to start, and then a Sterling and Diaz. Anyway, we'll probably do a fantasy football special at one point if it's. Sorry to back that.
Who's our best ever FPL players? You know,
just talk about
our loyal ones. You're never going to transfer them out.
One at one point. For any, if it's recommended, if it's what people want to watch, then
I'll tell you what. I never put any Chelsea players in there either, because Chelsea are the one club in the league that have an unmatched ability to let you down, no matter what.
I don't know about that. I've been supporting West Ham all my life. They let me down every other week.
Yeah, but you're kind of used to win one, lose one. When it's sort of like when you're winning titles and you actually want to win every week, and then suddenly we'll lose 3-0 to Sheffield United or something stupid like that, it does get frustrating.
I don't like putting Chelsea players in, just because I don't like seeing them do well. So I want fantasy points to.
I mean, we are doing well now.
Yeah,
doing a lot better.
You're not scoring too many. Defending well. You've not had the hardest games. You had Tottenham. They've been rubbish.
They are pretty.
Newcastle, Wolves. Wolves got a point at the bridge, and then who else is it? Sheffield United and.
Sheffield United and obviously Barnsley in the cup as well.
There was another one, wasn't there?
Burnley.
That's it.
Burnley.
So they're probably the easiest 5 fixtures you could ask for, right?
I mean, in the next couple of weeks, we've got Southampton tomorrow, which should be a win because I think they've lost about 6 in a row.
Southampton will win
they've literally lost about 6. They've lost about 6 in a row. Then we've got a run which is like Atletico away, Man United at home, Liverpool away, and then Everton at home.
That's big. If you come out of that,
Leeds away as well.
If you come out of that in the top 4,
then it's guaranteed.
Tuchel,
then we are going to get top 4.
Tuchel needs a round of applause. If you finish, I'm interested to see how Chelsea do, to be honest, because.
But I mean,
you've done great. You've done great so far, but is there any games where?
But it has been a distinct improvement already under Lampard.
Yeah, I think
4 games.
And you stick any manager who's half decent in that job after Lampard, it's going to make them look good.
It was not ideal, was it?
But
it really was not ideal.
Getting onto it, Chelsea, what are your overall opinions on this season?
It's been a failure. It's been a failure so far. Even if we do get top 4, it's still a failure.
But so at the beginning of the season, you're obviously a target.
Yeah, well, I mean,
win the league, but I'd say as a neutral, that's an unrealistic target for you. That was an unrealistic target.
But it's not unrealistic because we thought we were going to be challenging with Liverpool and City. Liverpool aren't title contenders anymore, and City have just run away with it.
City have run away with it without even being that good.
Yeah, and you didn't expect them to run away with it. So I think we could have absolutely, especially with the squad we've got. I mean, if you think of pure depth, only Man City match our squad.
But challenge for the title, is that what you expected?
I mean, I was expecting City to win the league on 86 to 90 points and us to get 76 to 80 points.
Yeah.
So 2 or 3 losses away from, usurping them, which is what I expected. But obviously, That's not going to happen. We're probably still going to get top 4, but I wouldn't have been happy with that. Even if we get second, it's probably going to be second by about 20.
You wouldn't be happy with top 4.
It's going to be about 12. Well, I'll be happy with it obviously, but I wouldn't think, well, that's a great season. Last season, I think we were sort of lulled into a false sense of security that top 4, like 4th place and losing a cup final was a good season. But really, you look back on it now and you think, actually, you're not going to remember that season fondly, are you? I mean, it's going to be great. The feel good factor was back. That was the issue. I feel like under Sarri, you lost a lot of the feel good factor with Chelsea.
You obviously went to a lot of games on the Lampard last season.
Yes, and I just every game I went under Sarri towards the end, it got so toxic. Where it's literally just boring.
I tell you what, if you think that was toxic, imagine how it would have been under Lampard if you were there. Before he got sacked.
When he got sacked, that
Who
that
did
first
you
game
lose
back.
to at home? You lost to Arsenal away. Got convincingly beaten by a poor Arsenal side.
And then we got spanked Man City at home as well.
Yeah, and then it was another home game you didn't win.
That
would have been toxic. I can't remember, but
I think we played Leicester away after that and lost, and then he got the boot.
I think for Chelsea fans to keep Lampard's legendary status, it was right to sack him because I think it would have been worse if he was in the job.
But the thing is, I'm the only Chelsea. I mean, me and Aaron are basically the only Chelsea fans. My mate Aaron, we're literally the only Chelsea fans I've seen that sort of agreed with the sacking. Like, I feel like people were letting it.
I've seen a lot of Chelsea fans.
It was a sentimental thing, just clouding their judgment. Yeah,
I don't get it. I think Lampard should have been sacked from a neutral. You don't care if he's a club legend.
I thought he should have been sacked after the Arsenal game.
That is early.
Boxing Day.
That was early. That's early on.
That was Boxing Day. You could tell something wasn't right there. And even last season, you could tell something wasn't quite right.
You don't sack him after that. I'm sorry, but that's one big defeat. Before that, you're doing okay. Before that,
we'd lost 3 out of the last 4.
You beat us.
And we were still about 6, and considering Arsenal hadn't won a game for 2 months, and they completely walked all over us.
I think you sacked him after wasn't it after an FA Cup game? It was his last game. What was it? Luton.
Yeah, Luton was just sort of like a guaranteed pass.
Who did you have the round before?
Who did we have the round before?
It was
Morecambe.
Morecambe.
Yeah.
Looking at it, I remember speaking to you and Aaron actually, and I said you should have sacked him before or after that Morecambe game. I think it would be the perfect time. Yeah. But anyway, it's done now.
And it's looked like a good time to sack him anyway because we're doing well.
You've got Tuchel in, who very experienced manager, managed big teams in the Bundesliga and Liga. And I will go as far to say that this is his biggest job yet. Yeah, definitely. I think
the expectations highest.
And it's harder than PSG. Dortmund is, I don't know if it's hard.
PSG was obviously win us the Champions League or we're going to be annoyed because the leagues are given.
Got to the final last year.
Yeah, got to the final last year. Did pretty decent. Bayern Munich were they were just unstoppable, weren't they? Really. So you can't really blame him for that. But yeah, this job now it is win everything you can, really, and he won't win everything you can. So then it's probably in a year or two after winning maybe 1 or 2 big uns, he'll be gone again.
Lampard won nothing.
Lampard did win nothing. That was, I think, that's when I knew something wasn't quite right. I mean, that FA Cup final, we played so well in the semi to beat Man United, and then in the final we were absolutely outplayed, completely outplayed. Yeah. I mean, and it was just little things like all they were doing was getting the ball. We were trying to attack. We were having like pointless possession, trying to attack. Weren't doing anything with it. Arsenal would just get the ball and whack it over the top to Aubameyang because our defensive line would be stood on the halfway line, and we were just sat there watching it. Me and my dad was sat there watching it. Like, just drop the line a bit. Like, why can't Lampard just see? Literally, it was about 4 or 5 times they just whacked the ball over to Aubameyang, and it was like Lampard should have just said, "Right, boys, drop the line a bit." Because Aubameyang is just roasting you lot. And the first goal came from the exact same thing. Booted the ball over. Aubameyang was through. Azpilicueta yanked him down for a penalty.
Yeah, I watched that game.
And it was like, why can we see what's going on? Why can we see where the goal's going to come from? But Lampard couldn't when he's the one in charge of it.
Yeah, that was when I knew something wasn't quite right. It's when you can see things going on that the manager isn't doing anything about. And to be all credit to Moyes this season, we haven't had any of that, I don't think. I think sometimes, actually, there's maybe substitutions that Moyes has done a little bit late, but other than that, I can't think.
Yeah, and he's changed
really
his style of play, isn't it? Really, he's changed his style of play because that's why you got rid of him the first time, because he was boring. And I mean, there has been games where you have sort of sat deep and tried to hit on the counter, but I think every team in the league does that. But sort of before under Moyes has just always been known as a negative manager with, just like the Fellaini role, wasn't it?
He
the
still
big
is
target
quite
man.
negative, because one problem that we've had this season, not many, but one problem that we have had that we don't usually have, is usually we turn up against the big teams, and we lose points to Burnleys and Brightons and West Broms. This season, we're getting points. We have the only team we've lost to outside the OG. I know it's not really a thing. It's becoming not a thing anymore. I like to think anyway.
Yeah.
Outside the OG top 6, the only team we've lost to is Newcastle at home, which is on the opening day. We were terrible. We deserved to lose.
I put you down as relegation.
Yeah. After that, I was like, this is gonna be a long old season.
I predicted you relegation.
But I've only lost so far against a team not original top 6. But then against the top teams, we've got 2 points out of, I think, 7 or 8 games. Played Liverpool twice, and that's it, isn't it? Yeah.
You were quite unlucky.
7.
You were quite unlucky against us as well. That wasn't a 3-0 game.
Yeah, but again, if we set up better, it's weird because I think we see the team of the name of the team. Sorry. And it's automatically right. Panic stations. Let's all just defend and see what we can do. But then against Leicester and Wolves not so much. But against Leicester, they're not as a scary name. So we went there. We went to King Power and just attacked them, and we battered them 3-0 and played them off the park.
Then you beat Wolves 4-0.
Beat Wolves 4-0, and at that point, Wolves were like there, and we were down there, and then we played Arsenal, and Arsenal aren't better than Arsenal, probably on Wolves' level, and we were just so scared, so negative, just because Arsenal are historically a big team.
Yeah.
And we should have won that game on the day. I think maybe a draw was a fair result. We could have won it. It was probably the right terminology.
Basically, every team does that against the big teams, though, don't they?
We lost 2-1, and again against Chelsea, if we attacked them, we could have been a different result. Liverpool, both times we just got so scared. They weren't not even that good this season. City was a great game. To be fair, we got the point at home, and then Tottenham. First half we were terrible and we came back to draw 3-0, and then Man United, we battered them for the first half and should have been about 3.5 half time. We weren't. We didn't take our chances, and we lost at 3-1 to just quality from Pogba and Fernandes. Really, at the end of the day, that's what usually wins Man United games. Yeah,
I mean that it always does confuse me about sort of the so-called smaller teams where they come up against the big boys and everybody just has the same game plan where it's like 11 men in the box. But I feel like you're more likely to get a point against us just trying to pressure us. Like, I mean, we've got Rudiger, our centre-backs are Rudiger, Zuma, Christensen, and Thiago Silva's injured at the moment, and Azpilicueta. Azpilicueta I've got no issues with, but Rudiger on the ball, clumsy. Zuma on the ball, clumsy. Christensen on the ball, weak. If you've got a big striker, if instead of having your striker camped on the edge of your own box trying to clear shots, if you go up and pressure Rudiger when he's on the ball, most of the time he's going to cock up like he did against Sheffield United, where he was put under a bit of pressure, kicked it into his own net. Zuma gives the ball away every 3 minutes because he's not very good on the ball. If you pressure our centre-backs, you're going to get chances against us. But the other teams like Burnley just sat back. We beat them comfortably. Newcastle just sat back. We beat them comfortably. Sheffield United gave us a game because they actually went and attacked us, but they're just not very good at football. Yeah. So that's why we beat them.
There we are. All the managers that don't manage a top 6 side in the Premier League. Football experts here. We know what we're on about.
Yeah, just listen to the tactics. All you need to do is just try and win games, and you'll probably win a game.
When you play Man City, just outplay them.
Yeah, well, the thing is, they've got better centre backs on the ball. I'm talking specifically.
If you play Man City, part of the bus and try and get a draw.
Yeah, Man City
that won't work.
But when Man City had Otamendi at the back, pressure him.
Yeah,
he can't kick a football. Pressure him.
Liverpool. That's what really annoyed me on the Liverpool game. They had Phillips.
Yep.
Average defender.
He was a non-league on loan, wasn't he?
You can't tell me he's that good. Liverpool fans.
Sorry about that. We had a bit of technical difficulties. Camera decided to die on us. We weren't saying anything interesting anyway.
Yeah, so we were just blabbering on. So it probably did us a favour.
Just a little bit, yeah. Talking about Burnley or whatever.
Yeah.
No one wants to hear about that.
We do. So we got when we in the podcast we want to put in like interesting things,
little segments,
segments, things, whatever you want to call it,
mini bits.
obviously, as time goes on, we'll think of more interesting ideas. And if anyone has any, it'd be great to let us know. But we're
Just
starting
anything you
off.
wanna see us
I
talk
mean,
about,
it is
basically.
staying West Ham, Chelsea based. That is our specialised topics, though.
That's our theme for the first
And,
episode. Just a bit of an
The
ego
first
trip.
episode is the Chelsea West Ham theme, but we do promise we won't be going on about Chelsea and West Ham for the whole time.
Yeah.
So we're both going to do not a joint 11 because that will be very Chelsea heavy.
Teeny bit.
But Dan will be doing his Chelsea 11. I'll be doing my West Ham 11, and we're going to try and do it now.
Yeah. So basically, what my stipulations was for both of these teams is the best 11 that we've seen play for our club in our lifetime. So obviously, there's not going to be any Peter Osgood. There's not going to be any Bobby Moore because we didn't watch them play. We're a bit younger than that. So anybody, all the best players that you've seen live play for your club in your lifetime. All right. And should we do my one first? Or
are we
your
going
one
to do
first?
goalkeeper?
Yeah, that's a good. We'll do
Yeah.
that. We'll do that then.
That's what I thought we were going to do.
Right. So I'll start a manager, and mine's a bit of a controversial one because I haven't gone for Mourinho, because I mean basically as I was making this list, I just couldn't. I literally refused to put aside my vendetta.
That he moved to Tottenham.
Pardon?
That he's moved to Tottenham.
Well, I mean, he's moved to Tottenham and he's moved to Man United. Basically, if you disrespect the club in a major way, it's more. It's not really a best 11. My one. It's more like my favourite 11, really, because obviously Jose Mourinho is the best manager to ever manage Chelsea, but he's not my favourite because he snaked us out.
Who I think you've put, then your team is going to be dog.
we're probably gonna lose. Who do you think I've put?
I think you put Di Matteo.
I have put Robbie Di Matteo in there. Well, I mean, I'm named after him for a start. That's a story for another day. But yeah, I've gone for Robbie Di Matteo. And second, my honourable mention was King Carlo, which would probably be a better choice. But my fave is Di Matteo. I mean, he won the trophy that we've wanted in the history.
He did a great job for that knockout tournament that you had, the Champions League. He did a fantastic job. He wasn't cut out for the league though. So
I mean, the thing is, he wasn't a good manager. He was a great manager. He literally just basically got us in the dressing room and said, "Boys, we want to win this trophy, don't you?"
You were nowhere on Barcelona's level and you weren't on Bayern's level, but you managed to do it.
But we outfought them. We outfought them and we outthunk them. That's how we won that trophy, basically.
Right. So mine, between two, I've gone. It's between for me. It's difficult because a lot of them have been crap. It's between Moyes and Bilic for me, but I've gone Bilic just because that season under him we got Europa League. It was a fantastic season. I went to most of the games. And the great feel. Last season at the Bowling doesn't make much of a difference for the manager, but it was just such a special season for us. And you could argue that Moyes might do a better job this year if he does get us top six. I would say it probably is a better job. Yeah,
especially considering the a lot of big teams had a massive drop off that season, but this year there's a lot more teams to compete with,
but not to the extent.
Yeah.
But Bilic definitely for me that season. For that season only. After that he lost his way a bit, but Bilic.
Just sort of ran out of ideas, really, didn't he? Okay. Right, goalkeeper. I mean, this was probably one of the easiest picks. I've gone Peter Cech, even though he did go to Arsenal. Ignore that. We didn't want it anyway.
Yeah,
he did go to Arsenal, which does sour it a teeny bit. It means he's not in my top 5 favourite players. He probably would have been if he didn't go to Arsenal. And I understand it. Obviously, his family's in London. His kids went to school in London. But it's like he did have offers on the table from PSG, Juventus, and it's sort of just like... Arsenal are quite clearly rivals, and he went there and won trophies against us. So I've gone for Cech, and honourable mention, an even bigger snake. I've gone for Courtois, but he was a great goalkeeper for us, basically. I mean, he was the best. Kepa was third place, actually. No, but Courtois was the best commander of a penalty box I think I've ever seen live. Yeah. Just if any cross, that's what we've missed with Kepa, basically. And even Mendy started off doing it and doesn't do it anymore. If a cross come into the box, Courtois would just catch it.
Okay.
Without
mine, right backs, we've not been blessed really over the years. Could go back to Lucas Neal or when I first started watching. Zabaleta wasn't that great when he was
Zabaletta's legs were gone.
His legs were gone. But I've just gone Soufal because this season he has been immense and there's not really anything to match him. we haven't had a right back as good as SOUCEK since I've been alive. So
yeah, I mean, it's a rogue shout. I mean, he's only been there 6 months, but I mean, I can't really argue with it. He's been
fantastic.
He has been very good.
He's been fantastic.
He has been very good.
So yeah, for me, it's definitely SOUCEK.
Okay.
I'll go centre backs first.
Okay.
I've got my centre back pairing of Ogbonna. What a servant he has been over the years. Came over. Servants for clubs when they're from different countries, it sort of hits more as well because he's come over from Italy.
Yeah.
He's settled really well.
I mean, they shouldn't have any loyalties to you, but it feels nice when they do.
I doubt he knew much about us before he came over.
Yeah.
And he obviously just loves living in London, loves the area, loves the club, and he's come out and said that now. And he's 33 now, so
is he really that old?
Yeah.
Jesus.
He's looking into coming into his end of his career with us, but centre backs can go to their 35, 36 at a high level. So hopefully he's got a couple more seasons left in him because he's been quality this season.
Okay.
And then sat right next to him, I could have gone Collins. I could have gone.
James Collins used to always score against us.
Yeah, he did actually. Even we used to lose, and Collins used to get it.
Even for Aston Villa, he used to score against us.
Yeah, it's annoying Collins going to Villa. Otherwise, for that 2-3 years he went to Villa, and it would have been good if we could have kept him. For his pretty much whole career, but he did have a spell at Villa. I have gone Winston Reid.
Okay.
Again, great servant for the club. He joined us. I think he joined us when the year before we got relegated. So he got relegated with us, stayed for us in the Championship, got us promoted. Was solid at the back that year in the Championship, I know. But then he continued that into the Premier League, and he was a mainstay at the back all the way until a couple of seasons back when I think he got an injury.
For it, didn't he? Really?
Yeah, he's now moved on, but I would have liked to seen him being given a better farewell, but we don't really give players farewells. We didn't give Collins a farewell.
No one really gets like a proper testimonial nowadays, do they?
No. And right, Chelsea.
Okay, right. So my right back is again one of the easiest picks. I've gone Branislav Ivanovic. I mean, maybe one of the most clutch players.
Didn't I let you have a right back?
No.
Sorry about that. Yeah,
that's right. I'll do 3 now. So I've gone Ivanovic, maybe one of the most clutch players we've ever had, and I mean just in terms of all-rounded right back, unbelievable.
I'm not much fan of Chelsea, but I remember watching back in the day when they were unreal, when he was just.
I mean, the guy used to score. 7-8 goals a season.
Please play up front sometimes.
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't have to do much defending.
No, but I mean, until his last season, I never saw a winger get the better of him, really. I think Jefferson Montero turned him inside out in the opening game of the 15-16 season.
Where Mourinho and Cavanero had a bust up?
So that was the Mourinho meltdown season. But before that, I don't remember a winger ever getting the better of Ivanovic. And obviously, we've had some honourable mentions, like Aspi, great servant to the club. I think he's one of the best one-on-one defenders in the league, even for the last 10 years. And the other one is that I've gone for Giuliano Belletti. Very rogue shout, but he scored some thunderbolts, if you've ever seen any of Giuliano Belletti's goals. Centre-backs, I've gone, obviously, I mean, it's quite obvious, John Terry.
Let me guess him. John Terry, yep. Which I would have guessed. And I'm going to go a rogue one.
Okay.
I'm going to go between 2.
Yeah. I'm
going to say if you've gone for actually how good they were, you've gone Carvalho. But if you're going for like your favourite, I don't think you've gone David Luiz.
Oh no, I don't like David Luiz.
He won your Champions League, didn't he?
Yeah, but he was box office. But he
looked quite good when he first came to you, and he used to do very good.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, I remember as well, like me and Dad always talk about this. On his debut, his debut was against like Fulham away or something. He was putting in a man of the match display. He was doing all these things where like he was one of the first ball playing centre backs, proper ball playing centre backs that we brought into the league. Everyone's doing it now. You have to be a ball playing centre back, and he was springing these passes, going on box to box runs, and then he gave away a penalty in the 90th minute.
Classic.
Just literally, it was the most David Luiz game you've ever seen. But no, I've gone for Gary Cahill. I mean, just that partnership, the John Terry and Gary Cahill partnership was amazing. Obviously, Carvalho is an honourable mention, but I don't remember him enough. He, when I sort of remember the games, he was a bit older. I think he won the league in 2010, then went off to Real Madrid. He was still good that 2010 season, but we partnered him with Alex, who I loved Alex growing up.
Yeah, I remember I had a mate who was a Chelsea fan, and his little brother was called Alex. So when he got a Chelsea show, you want Alex, you got Alex 33.
Yeah, and Alex's free kicks used to absolutely twat him in. They were so jokes. Yeah, Alex was quite a rogue one, but I used to love Alex growing up, and I've gone for Kurt Zouma, but with a very stipulation.
What, you gone 5 at the back?
No. I've gone for no. That's just an honourable mention. Sorry. So I've gone Kurt Zouma, but just for his 2015 season. Before he done his knee in. He was everything you wanted in a centre back. But now he's.
That's like me putting Jack Wilshere in mine.
He's a bit average.
You had a few good games for Arsenal.
Yeah, that's why Zuma's third.
Yeah, no,
third honourable mention. He's not in the top 4.
He's not getting anywhere near honourable mentions for me.
He's not in the top 4.
Chelsea fan. Right, let's try. Right, get through this.
Go for left back.
I've gone again. We had a player I don't know if many people will know who a player called George McCartney back in the day. He played for us.
Nope.
I think he had 2 spells for us. I'm not sure. I think he had 2 spells for us.
He was a Beatle.
That was George Harrison and Paul McCartney.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you mix them up, you get you get 2 of the Beatles. He was quality, and then we got in 2014 we got Cresswell in, and he was better than him, George McCartney, and Cresswell. Yeah, it has to be Cresswell. Being with us now 8 years at the end of this year, I think it might be.
Yeah, Cresswell's very good.
At points he's been Cresswell. We need to get a new left back, but he's been great this season. When he's good, he's good. He's really good. It's when he's been off. He's been when the team plays badly, Cresswell plays badly. But when we're all playing well, he looks really good left back. And yeah, just because he's been with us a long period of time, and some of his goals, I remember Leicester away. When Leicester won the league, I went up to Leicester away, and Vardy got sent off. Then Carroll scored a penalty, and then Cresswell scored a volley from the edge of the box. It was 2-1 up in the 87th minute, and it was limbs. The whole King Power was silent, and then they went up in the other end and scored a penalty themselves. So, but yeah, for pure moments as well, for some good goals, Cresswell.
Yep. Right, fair enough. I mean, my left back shout is, again, an obvious one. Ashley Cole, in my opinion, the greatest left back in Premier League history. Yeah. So obviously he has to be in.
Need to say much.
Yeah, so obviously he has to be in my Chelsea. And my honourable mention is Marcus Alonso, as a wing back, not as a left back.
Under the
Conte season, yeah. Conte season, Marcus Alonso. Even now, he's a great left wing back, but if you stick him in a back 4, he's going to be a donkey. So, yeah.
All right.
What formation have you got?
I'm playing a 4-2-3-1.
Okay, right. I've gone for 4-3-3.
Yeah, okay. In my 2 DMs, I've gone with, can you guess them?
Declan Rice. And Mark Noble.
You've got 1.
Okay.
So I've gone, the player that I actually pretty Messi was one of the players who made me fall in love with football, but one of the players who made me fall in love with West Ham was Mark Noble. He's such a icon.
He's a proper British centre mid, isn't he? He really is.
When I started to go in 2003, 2004, I think he made his debut in 2004. So literally, and I started watching to now. Whenever I've watched West Ham, pretty much he's always been in the team. Always Noble. I love him. If there's one player who I actually feel like I love, it's him.
Yeah.
His legs are gone now, and he looks like he's going to be getting coaching badges next season. And
I was going to say, you always want him in the dressing room,
I hope we can keep him around the club for years to come. Whether he wants to do that or he wants to do punditry, it's up to him. I think he's interested in his badges. I think that's what I've read. But yeah. Longest serving player for one club in the Premier League right at the moment.
Yep.
Absolute legend. And then next to him, I've gone with Thomas Soucek.
Really? Over Declan Rice?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. It was between them.
Okay.
And West Ham fans will probably disagree with me here. And I'll probably get a lot of stick.
So I don't even think Soucek is a DM. He's sort of like a nothing, is he? He's just everywhere.
That's the formation on paper.
That's the role you're giving him free role.
He'll play where he likes.
You're giving him free role.
And then you've got Prime. And when I'm talking about Noble, we've got Prime like 2015 Noble, not Noble now. But yeah, I think Soucek. I know it's a difficult one. There's lots of reasons for each of them, but Soucek's just unreal. And in 10 years time, I might sit in and then I'll have Declan Rice in there. But right at this moment,
bit of a character as well, isn't he, Soucek?
Yeah, you just got to love Soucek. No, you can't hate Soucek.
Yeah.
And he scores lots of goals, whereas Rice is very good, but he doesn't score as many goals. And yeah, it's Soucek. That's just, I can't really put a finger on why, but Soucek for me but over Rice. But both Rice honourable mention. I haven't done as many honourable mentions, but
Yeah, well,
Rice is an honourable mention.
we've had a lot more
So are you
squad
gonna
depth over the year. So I'll give you my midfield three.
Midfield three. Right. Let's get through them.
So I've gone for I mean, basically, I've got 3 box to boxes
Right,
really.
Can I guess them?
Go on then.
I'm going to go with. I know you don't like him. Dan doesn't like N'Golo Kante, but he has to be in.
No. I love N'Golo Kante. Aaron doesn't like Kante.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Sorry, I got them mixed up.
No, I absolutely love N'Golo Kante.
Oh yeah. So.
Yep. Well, he's in there.
He's in there. Kante.
Yep.
And then ahead of him, you've got to have. Even though I hate him, hate's a strong word, but I'm not a massive fan of him. Frank Lampard.
Yep. Obviously.
And then next to him, in the middle. Please don't tell me you put Kovacic.
No.
All the great centre midfielders you've had over the years. Essien.
Michael Essien. Yep.
Yeah.
I've gone for the Bison, Michael Essien. I mean, he is literally. I just used to love watching him just absolutely just do everything. He'd score a screamer, body someone, 2-foot someone, a 40-yard ping.
He was I remember watching him in mainly back when I was young. I watched him lots of Champions League. And
absolute powerhouse until his knees gave way, which is such a shame. If he had working knees his full career, he would honestly be in the Vieira conversation. Maybe a bit of an overstatement, but yeah. Lampard.
Yeah, I mean, you'd be slated in comments for that, but
if his knees didn't give way, Lampard obviously is
Essien if he had knees, or Vieira, or Kante.
Yeah. No, well, Kante's a different type, but I think honestly, think of the superstars we've had over the years. We've obviously had Drogba, Lampard, John Terry, Soucek. I think the best individual season I've ever seen from a Chelsea player is 16-17 Kante, and I say that with a straight face. I mean, he won the PFA Player of the Year that year, obviously as well.
Not many people would laugh at you with that at all.
Yeah, I mean, he did win the PFA Player of the Year at the end of the day.
15-16 for Leicester, he was just as good, if not better, and then he just carried that on to Chelsea.
I think he just took up a notch.
He really did take up a notch. Chelsea and won a World Cup.
Yep.
And you could ask, he's dropped off playing. I think who was it who tried to play him further forward? It wasn't his position.
It was Sarri.
Yeah.
Well, basically injuries have ruined him because he used to time everything to perfection, and now his legs are slightly behind. Everything's slightly off centre, and he doesn't time as well. Yeah. And obviously Lampard needs no explanation as well. I mean, he's used to just.
Even though Dan isn't actually a massive fan of Lampard,
I didn't like him going to Man City. I really didn't like him going to Man City. But my honourable mentions, I've got quite a few because we had some great midfielders over the years. I've gone for Ramirez as just a bit of a workhorse. Mikel does a job. Michael Ballack, again, wasn't here long enough, but he did the same sort of stuff as Michael Essien, really. Just absolute brick house.
Ballack was on my guess. It was in my head when I was trying to guess.
Yeah, but I don't remember Ballack as much because
he wasn't there that long either.
He left in 2010. He was 07 to 2010, I think. And more attacking wise, I've gone for Fabregas. I think Fabregas was amazing when we won the league twice as well. Oscar used to be a bit of a wild card, and I think a cult hero more than an actual good player. Raul Meireles, just because he was a bit of a character, really. Yeah, he was just hilarious.
He's Liverpool as well, wasn't he?
Yeah, and he's done one of the greatest celebrations ever when we scored against Benfica in the quarter final when we actually won the whole thing. He did a great celebration. He went like, you just have to watch a replay of it. It is quite iconic.
So I give my creative. This isn't actually.
Well, you're number 10.
Looking at it, but
you're number 10.
No, I'll just do my creative 3.
Yeah.
Can you guess them? There's 3 there. One's they sort of fit the formation.
Well, one's obviously Dimitri.
Yeah.
Even though he did shaft you over a bit.
He has to be in there.
Yeah. You might have gone for something like Lanzini before the injuries.
But Lanzini before injuries would have been in there.
Pre-injury Lanzini, maybe.
He is an honourable mention.
I don't know whether you've put Arnautovic on the wing or up top.
Arnautovic isn't in this 3.
Okay, I don't know that.
I've got Antonio on the right.
Okay, on the right.
Well, I wouldn't play him. I'd play him up top now, obviously. But I have to fit him in there, and he's not as good as my striker.
He's an inside. You could play him as an inside forward then.
Yeah, he just does what he wants, gets crosses. I don't think I've seen a worse first touch from a player in my life, or a worse outside the box build up play. He's sometimes terrible. Why? Who is this? Why is he playing? But then he makes up for it for goals inside the box, and there's just strength, and he on his day he could be good. No, he's defenders struggle to defend him.
Yeah.
And as soon as we signed him, he started off slow in the 15-16 season. It was his first season with Paya actually, but he carved through that season. He just clicked and was unreal. And since then he's had dips, but everyone has dips.
Didn't he have a season where he scored about 12 headed goals in 1 year as well? Something ridiculous.
I'm not sure
like
it was that much. I don't think he's ever scored 12 goals in a Premier League season, to be honest.
Probably not.
But he's a big old unit, so he probably has scored a lot of headed goals. And then in the cam spot, he's more of a centre forward / CDM, really, a bit like SOUCEK. Both of them are sort of the same role. SOUCEK, I'd say, is better, but I've got Kevin Nolan.
I forgot about him.
At the time, he was our captain. Everything you wanted to see in a player.
Stupid celebration.
And he got a lot of stick when he played for us. But at West Ham, a lot of stick goes on to the captain. Rightly so, you could say, because they're the team that needs to motivate. They're the player. Did I say team? They're the player who needs to motivate the team.
Yeah.
But he, in the box again, he'd always be in the right spot. He's a bit similar to SOUCEK, and yeah, he's he's now working for us under Moyes as an assistant coach. So I think I think all his kids are West Ham fans. But he's a legend for the car club as well for what he did. Took us up first season, was class. Got us back where we belong in the Premier League.
Yeah.
So yeah, you do your wingers.
Yeah, I'll do my wingers then. So on the left, we've got Eden Hazard. I mean, unplayable. On his day, I have to say on his day, or else he'll go mental at me.
Unplayable every 3 or 4 games.
Yeah, and on the right wing, I've gone for Pedro. We haven't actually had that many good right wingers. Joe Cole, I don't know. I missed the good Joe Cole years when I started properly going season ticket.
Joe Cole was a bit like Michael Owen. When he was younger, he was really good.
Yeah.
And as he got older, he got a bit average.
Yeah. He had a 2 or 3 year spell where Joe Cole was amazing, but I sort of missed that. So I've gone Pedro on the right just because he never really let us down. Did a great job for about 3 or 4 years. Yeah. And other ones that could have been in for a shout, Nicholas Anelka coming in, and Florent Malouda coming in off the left on the left foot, quite good. Even Salomon Kalou, even though he was maybe one of the worst players I've ever seen play for us, but also a very memorable and useful one.
I feel like maybe not Anelka, but Malouda and Kalou were only good because they had better players around them. If you put them in your team now, I think they look average.
Yeah, I mean, we knew at the time that Malouda had one world-class season and Kalou never had a world-class season. He was just sort of always there, but they always just did jobs for you, and that's all you can ask, really. Yeah, in title-winning sides, you just want people to do your job for you.
And then, right, striker. Can you guess mine?
Arnautovic.
No. He's a bit of an oddball. He's not in it.
And it's not Andy Carroll.
No.
I can't really think of many strikers you've had down the line, to be honest.
I think I'll tell you them.
Yeah, go on.
Carlos Tevez.
Oh, really? When did he leave you?
He had 1 season with us. But he's a legend of the club, and he says he loves the club. I don't know how much he loves the club, but he says he does. And if it wasn't for him that season, we would have been relegated to the Championship, and who knows where we'd be now.
Yep.
That's like who knows if we would have come up straight away or what would have happened. But because of him, we stayed up. He was unreal. Free kicks he'd score, not as good as Payet, but he scored a great free kick against Tottenham, which we ended up losing. I think he scored a free kick against Bolton.
Horrible little bastard as well. Horrible little bastard.
Yeah, that was the first season where I think I really remember going to games. 05, 06, I think. Before that, I went to games, but I don't really remember them. That season, I have a lot of clear memories of Tevez and the players we had around him. We had Mascherano. He was a bit of a flop, to be honest. But yeah, Tevez. I think we signed them on obviously I don't want to go into the whole scenario around them, but we signed them.
Teeny bit dodgy.
I think we signed them on 6-month contracts, and then Mascherano finished his 6-month contract in January and was like, "Oh, I'm off. I don't want to stay around here." But Tevez, everyone liked him, and he was like, "Oh, I'll sign another 6-month contract." So he signed and stayed with us till the end of the season. Yep. Where
Sheffield United don't like him.
Fair enough. He went. Yeah, when I went to Sheffield United away last year, we were all wearing Tevez masks, and I said we all. There was a couple of people wearing Tevez masks, and we were singing songs about Tevez, which was we lost, but I think it was a great atmosphere anyway.
Right. Okay. And I mean,
top for you.
Well, it's quite an easy pick. Easy pick again.
I'm not sure who it is.
No, this is a really hard one. I don't think
really
anyone's going to get this.
Yeah, put it down in the comments if you're just watching.
Well, I'll spoil it. It is King Didier. I mean, it's
King Didier.
It is the King Didier.
Does he get king status? I mean, legend status. Does he get?
He's the King of Wembley, King of Ivory Coast, King of Stamford Bridge. Apart from Peter Osgood. And then honourable mention, I've gone for Diego. Diego was great as well.
They're the two strikers over the Chelsea.
I mean, they're the only good strikers we've had in my lifetime.
Out of the top of my head, I think they're really good. But other than that, you've had poor strikers.
We've had pretty crap strikers. I think Loic Remy did a job for a season when we won the league. Scored. I think he won us about 8 points. We won the league by about 8 points, and he single-handedly won us 8 points with his goals. I think he did a job. And obviously, Tammy has the capability.
No, don't mention Tammy.
He has the capability, maybe not at the moment, but yeah.
He's not an honourable mention, Tammy Abraham.
If you've got two strikers as Drogba and Diego, you can't put Tammy in the same level as that. So no. Well, that is our joint 11.
Joint 11. So is that and interesting. I think I have maybe a few players. Payet probably gets into your team. I might play him on the right instead of Pedro. Maybe a bit of a wild card. Probably Noble slots in front of Lampard. But other than that, I think it's a pretty solid team.
Kevin Nolan in instead of Lampard as well.
Yeah, all around.
Right.
So,
do you want a quiz?
We are also part of the 7 years doing quizzes. So when we have a guest, we'll be doing host versus guest. It's a thing we want to start doing when we have guests on. But for now, obviously we haven't got a guest. It's just us two.
And one of us has to write the questions.
One of us has to do the. So what it's going to be is one of us is going to write the questions. One of us is going to answer the questions versus the guest, which we'll have on, and we'll have build up a little like host versus guest thing.
Yeah.
But right at that moment, we're not going to do that. I'm just going to answer questions.
I'm just going to do a quick quiz.
Me, and obviously you can play along and see if you can play me. So if you feel like you're up for it.
Yep. No cheating. No Google.
You can be.
Hide the questions.
You can be the guest. Let's do that.
Yeah.
Person watching this right now is the guest, and they're playing against me.
Right. First question I've got.
Yeah. Have you started easy and then going harder?
I think
How
we've
many
gone.
questions have you got?
I've got 7.
Okay, 7.
So should be able to rattle through them. Right. So I'm going to give you a point for each 3 names you get here.
Right.
So there have been 13 players who have played for both West Ham and Chelsea in the Prem. Name them.
13.
Yep. I'll give you a point for each 3 and a bonus one if you get all 13.
Each 3. So point.
So if you get 6 names, you get 2 points. If you get 7 names, you get 2 points, and so on. 9 names is 3 points.
So there's 13 players.
13 players. Go.
Frank Lampard.
Frank Lampard is 1.
Joe Cole.
Joe Cole is 2.
Wayne Bridge.
Wayne Bridge is 3.
I really have to think back here.
There are some hard ones.
In the Premier League era.
Yeah.
So we're talking about 90s as well.
Yeah.
There
are some weird names on it.
John Terry doesn't count because he doesn't play.
No, Declan Rice and John Terry don't count.
I've got 3.
Do you want some clues?
Yeah, go on.
I've had a couple Israelis.
Ben Ayoun, Tel Ben Haim.
Yep.
Yeah. Then we have. I'm trying to think what eras.
Three that won the league with us. That should help you out.
And then came to us.
Yep. I think
we would have just plucked them off you then when they were turning rubbish.
Mm-hmm.
This is a difficult question off the top of my head. So I've got 5 with a little help. Don't give me any more help.
Okay.
I'm
going to give you 40 more seconds. See how many you can get.
Seconds. These things when you ask questions, your mind goes blank. You tell me and I remember them all.
Bit of peer pressure.
Yeah. So I've got 5. So 7 more.
You've already said the surname to one of them.
Oh, bloody hell. Carlton Cole.
Yeah, Carlton.
And then you've got...
I'm only giving you 15 more seconds.
Oh, my mind's gone absolutely blank. This is terrible. I thought I'd be better than this.
Do you want them?
Yeah, go on.
Right, so we've got Ian Pearce.
Don't know who he is.
No clue. Scott Minto.
Yeah,
He does. I think he does.
never have got him.
Does commentary nowadays. He
Yeah.
was on Chelsea TV for a bit. Craig Forrest. Never heard of him. Apparently, he was a goalkeeper on loan for us. Glenn Johnson. You'll be annoyed.
Yeah.
Scott Parker will do you nothing. Demba Ba will probably annoy you, and
Yeah.
Victor Moses will probably annoy you.
Yeah, I should have got the last four.
Yeah.
The first one you mentioned there, I would not have got.
Yeah.
That's why you said 9. If you get 9.
Yeah. So count your points up. We got Joe on 2 so far because we've got 6 there. Right. Next question. How many times have West Ham won at Stamford Bridge in the Premier League era? You can have a bonus point if you can tell me the years.
I don't literally so. Obviously, I'm 22. Dan's 20. So my knowledge pretty much goes back to the year 2000. So literally before that, I'm guessing. But after the year 2000, I think it's twice, which was last season. So that's was it 1920?
Mm-hmm.
And then we won the year we got relegated. I think 02-03.
Yep.
And
Did a double over us, yeah.
Did we? And then I'm going. I don't know if there's one more in the 90s. I say 3.
3 in total.
Yeah.
No, it's 5 in total
5
actually.
in total. So the 90s was we at the Bridge. We won 3 times.
Yeah.
In the 90s.
99, 95, and 96.
Nice. I wouldn't have got that. I don't really watch up in the 90s.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm happy with that. I've got the ones in my era.
Yep, so that's 2. Right. This is so we're moving on now.
So how many points do I get for that? 1 point.
I'll give you 2. We'll say you can have.
Because I got the years correct. So
Yeah. You can have that. Right. What is the most goals scored in a single season by a Premier League player without scoring a hat trick? Well, who scored it? Basically not, because how many goals is going to be hard.
This is an impossible question. It's a good question though, but it's literally just it is literally a stab in the dark.
Basically.
Can you give me like a time
I'll give you a
frame?
hint. They won the league. This player won the league.
I'm going.
Okay.
I think you said you'd keep it within my time era, so I think it's since I watched it. I'm going to try and be quick. I'm going with Diego Costa.
Nope. Would have been a good shout though. I think Diego got about 22. The answer is actually Jamie Vardy when they won the league. Got 24
Really?
goals.
He never got a hat trick.
24. Well, he got a hat trick, but in the season after.
Oh right.
So yeah, so he scored
I
24
really
goals.
thought I could have got that actually because I have watched every Leicester game of that season. Cause
Yep.
it's just...
No, 24 goals without a single hat trick. Right, next one. This one is going to be hard. This one's very hard.
A lot of happy runs already.
What is the most goals? So what player scored the most goals as a substitute in a single season?
I remember Naismith coming off the bench for
Scored a hat trick against us.
against Chelsea off the bench.
Yep. No, I'll give you a hint to narrow
I'll
it
go
down.
Edin Dzeko.
Edin Dzeko. Do you want another hint? It's not Edin
Is
Dzeko.
Javi Hernandez?
It's not.
Yeah, give me.
They got relegated.
That could be anyone. I'm gonna go with who scored loads of goals and the team still went down.
Well, there was as a substitute, so he probably didn't start a lot.
Would the team give it away?
Yeah. Probably.
Relegated, off the bench, scored a lot of goals.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so. I'm just racking my brain through all the different eras.
I think you're just going to have to just shout a name. You're probably not going to get it.
I've given 2 names. I've already got one. To be fair, give me the team and I'll try and get it. But I won't get any points.
Reading.
Kitson.
Adam Lafondra.
Adam Lafondra.
Adam Lafondra got 8 in 2012-13 when they went down.
Yeah, I do remember that. Now, yeah.
Right, there are 3 players who are tied with the most red cards in Premier League history with 8. Name them.
Red cards.
8 red cards in the Premier League era.
Is Rich Dunn there?
Richard Dunn is 1. That's good.
There's got to be players who have been around a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going with surely someone like Patrick Vieira.
Patrick Vieira is number 2. Just 1 you missing.
I've got Roy Keane in my head, but I don't think it's him. I'm going David Luiz.
No, it's not a bad shout though, because he has got sent off about 7 times with Arsenal.
Yeah.
No, it's Duncan Ferguson.
Oh yeah, Everton's
basically just
I would never have got that.
Dirty bastard, basically. That's it, really.
But yeah, I do remember him. He was a bit before our time, I think, wasn't he?
Yeah. So I'll give you 2 points for that. Right. Name the 4 players to play every single minute of a Premier League winning side. So played every single minute as their team won the league. And
4. There's 4.
There's 4. 3 of them very, very recent. The 4th one a bit harder.
Okay. It's got to be a Liverpool one last year because I don't remember them getting many injuries. So I'm going to go Van Dijk.
Tell you what, it's probably a correct answer, but I got this question from last year, so it wouldn't have updated it. That's probably correct, but
what do you mean you got this question from last year?
I mean, I got this question from a website from about a season ago, so
right.
It doesn't count last year. So
okay.
I'm changing the small.
Right.
I'm changing the small print to pre 2018.
2018.
Pre 2018, yeah.
So not when City won it either.
No.
Well, he won it twice, but I'm gonna go. I'm still gonna stick on City. And go Edison.
Nope. Nope.
That's a difficult question, isn't it?
It's quite hard. I mean, we're getting to the end. I've stuck some hard ones in there.
Let's go with Vidic.
Nope.
Let's go. I'm literally picking.
I'll give you
names.
2 more names. You said 2, and there's 4.
Okay, let's go with
2 more shouts.
Who was never injured? John Terry.
John Terry is 1.
And I'm gonna go recent. So it's gonna be recent. I'm gonna go Leicester every single minute.
Every single minute. 38 games.
I'm gonna go Leicester. And I'm gonna go with. It's not the right back. I'm gonna go with Wes Morgan.
Wes Morgan, very good. The other 2 were Cesar Azpilicueta and Gary Pallister back in '93 for Man United.
I'm proud of getting that Wes Morgan. To be fair.
Yeah. Azpi's a bit of a harder one.
To be fair, you said get 2, and I got 2.
You probably got Van Dijk as well, so I'll probably give you a bonus point for that.
We'll have to actually look that up.
Right. Okay. And final one. Who were the most recent club to be top of the Premier League and relegated in the same season?
Blackpool.
No.
I remember they were high up. And then they
If you think about it, there's an easy way for this to be a thing.
Right. Is it some AFC someone? No.
Think.
Yeah, I'm thinking
top of the league in
alphabetical.
No. Think top of the league in August. There's a way that can happen.
Watford were, but they weren't. It wasn't the season they got relegated. Top of the league in August.
Give you 20 seconds.
Yeah. Can you give me a clue?
They beat the reigning champions.
That doesn't help. I'm going to go stab in the dark and say Norwich.
No, Hull City, 2017. Beat Leicester on the opening day. Beat Leicester on the opening day. We're top of the league for about 2 minutes. Went down. So that is the quiz.
They played opening day and they were top.
Yeah. Abel Hernandez scored the winner.
I remember that.
So you got a total of 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I'll give you 8 points for that one. So see if you could beat that at home.
If you could beat that at home, it'd be impressive because they were really tough questions in my opinion.
They were quite hard actually. Reading them out. I mean, I knew the answers, but that's probably because I
if you sat there with the answers, they seem easy.
That's probably why.
When you don't know them, it's difficult. But yeah.
So how about we round this off then with score predictions for the weekend?
For the weekend. I actually don't know the Wolves Leeds score. Do you know it?
The Wolves Leeds score.
Don't give it me. Do you know it?
I can quickly check.
No, don't if you don't know it.
Okay.
Because we can guess it.
Oh, it's too late now.
Have you seen it?
Well, they won 1-0.
Well, Wolves did.
Wolves won 1-0. I mean, it was already 1-0 about 70 minutes when we started recording.
I've just subbed Bamford into my fantasy team as well.
Not ideal. I captained Rafinha,
Yeah.
so that's great. Right, so we've got score predictions. Southampton-Chelsea tomorrow.
At Southampton?
At Southampton.
I am going 1-1.
I'm going to go 2-0 Chelsea. Liverpool-Everton. Liverpool at home.
Low scoring, 1-0 Liverpool.
I'm going to go 3-1 Liverpool. Just, I don't rate Everton's chances at all. Even though Liverpool, no matter how bad Liverpool are, Everton will never beat Liverpool. That's just known fact.
That is a fact.
Burnley-West Brom. Maybe the most 0-0 game I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, 0-0.
Okay. Fulham-Sheffield United.
2-0 Fulham.
Okay, I like it. I'm going to go for the same. Right, Sunday. West Ham-Tottenham.
My heart and head say different things.
Yeah.
But I am going with... I'll take it as well, 1-0.
I was just about to say 1-1 as well. Aston Villa-Leicester.
I am going 3-1 Leicester.
Okay, I'll be...
Interesting. I think they'll do them.
I'll be a bit different then. I'll go 2-1 Villa. Arsenal-Man City. I mean, do we even need to... 3-0 City.
0 to Arsenal, whatever to City, 4-3, 5.
Just roll the dice. Roll the dice for City to score. Man United, Newcastle.
3-0 Man U.
4-1. I'll go high scoring. Why not?
I'll give Newcastle a goal as well. I'll go 3-1.
Right, 3. Right, Monday, Brighton Palace.
Ooh, what's it? The
that is going to be the M23 derby. That is going to be boring.
I won't be watching that. I might have to actually if we're going to be talking about it next week.
That is going to be boring. 1-0.
Brighton Palace. Brighton look better than Palace. I'm going 2-1 Brighton.
But Brighton can't win, save their lives. Well, I say that, but they beat Tottenham and Liverpool. Haven't won a game since. Leeds Southampton. That's on Tuesday.
Tonight, Southampton.
Hopefully we'll have lost seven in a row by the time they get to Leeds, so they've got something to prove then.
I'm going Leeds lost tonight. Will Leeds lose 3 games in a row? No, I don't think so. I think 1-1.
Okay. Well, I think because Leeds are at home, I think they're actually at a disadvantage, and I'm going to go...
That's what I thought. 2-0
Southampton.
Yeah, but that's what I had in my head, but I just thought...
Danny Ings brace.
Will they lose again?
Yeah. Well, so at the end of the day, at the end of the weekend, we're going to check our scores, see how amazing we are at predictions. Probably get every single one wrong.
We can see who's
better, even though
we've got a lot of similar ones.
We did pick quite a few together, but we had some rogue ones in there.
Yeah, so we'll see. We could maybe do a little bit of a Fogden and Fogdad thing. Can we do that without like stealing their ideas?
Yeah.
We can
maybe. We can find a way. We'll have to come up with a name for it.
Black drape thing we had on is absolutely off now.
It looked a lot bigger in the picture.
Yeah.
So I
we
think
round things off with just a couple minutes of what we're gonna.
So just as we said earlier on, next week hopefully we're going to do the same sort of thing, come up with some new interesting things to talk about, and we're going to have a special guest, Jack, Manchester United fan.
So if you are a Man United fan, tune in to on the YouTube channel.
Yep. Stick some questions in that you want to ask him, maybe.
Yeah, stick questions if you've got any for Jack or for us.
Just anything,
or any questions you have, stick them in the comments of this video and we'll answer them, because I'm sure we won't get too many. So we'll answer them. We'll appreciate it, definitely. We'll appreciate questions because it gives us something to talk about that we haven't just brought up, and it's just interesting, isn't it? We also have an Instagram and a Twitter, which we haven't posted anything on yet. We have them there, but we haven't posted anything on yet, obviously, because we haven't had any content to post.
Yeah, we'll post this on that.
We'll be posting clips of this on that, trying to promote this. It'd be great if you could drop a comment in this, give us. Should we do a like target?
No.
10 likes.
6 likes.
6 likes.
Yeah.
And then on Instagram we are the Footy Social.
Yep.
And then on
Twitter we are the Footy Social, but I've had to put the L as an I.
As an I, because someone had already taken it.
Someone's already taken it. Some Aussie football.
Yeah,
so completely different sport.
Don't follow him.
Don't follow them unless you like Australian football.
Yeah, then do follow him.
Yeah,
because he'll probably have your content on there.
Yeah, we'll link everything in the description.
And that's a good way of trying to find our channel as well. It will be on our social medias.
Yep.
And we'll probably eventually, we're looking to do like giveaways and just try and
once we get the budget
it'll
up
be a
and
good
we
way,
actually have
yeah.
working mic stands. I don't know if you can even see that on camera.
It'll be this is
It's not the most ideal setup, but we're making do.
It'll be a
We're
good way
independent.
to try and get more knowledge of what the community like, and we do polls and stuff. And yeah, it's a good, interesting way to try and keep involved with us. And we're hoping, like an aim for this podcast, we're hoping to try and get it fairly big and see if we can take it. And hopefully, in a couple of years' time, we're not sat in my garage. We're actually sat in a proper studio.
Yeah.
And we'll be getting more people on. And obviously, this is our first ever one, so we've never done this sort of thing before. So
yeah. So if we were a bit rubbish, just excuse us.
Yeah. If there's anything we can do better, then just put it down in the comments. We'll take constructive criticism all day long.
Yep. Maybe not well, but we will take it.
Dan won't take it well, but yeah.
Well, I think that's everything I have to say. Just
comment, subscribe.
Yep. Thank you.
Do
Thanks,
all
everyone.
that jazz that people say, and here's the outro.